You can download this adventure for free at the link in the description. It contains maps and tokens for your online and live session. Now let's take a look at the content and see together how to manage it. Before the session, I recommend you read it carefully to understand its mechanics. Crossroad Inn is based on deception, games of chance, and increasing psychological tension. Adapt the challenges and trials to the abilities of your group. If you have more experienced players, you can make the bets and skill trials harder. But if your group is new to the game, keep the difficulty medium, giving more hints or clues. But now let's get into the action. The adventure begins with the characters caught in a snowstorm. After much blind wandering, tired and cold, they find shelter at the Crossroad Inn, a tavern that seems to be located in the middle of nowhere. Once inside, they discover a cozy, warm room. The ambiance is relaxed, but there's something strange in the air. The characters are unknowingly trapped in a magical dream, orchestrated by Azazel, a trickster demon who will attempt to steal their souls. Decide how much time you have for this one shot and set a timer. The dream lasts only a few hours, at the end of which the characters will be released. The adventure is divided into 4 main phases, each of which allows the demon Azazel to tighten his circle around the characters. Let's look at them together. Step 1. Gaining trust. Inside the tavern are 4 characters. Innkeeper Mira, 2 drunks at a table playing dice, Gregor and Nolan, and a strange, lonely individual sitting on the sidelines, Halon. In this first phase, Mira tries to befriend the characters and make them comfortable, while Gregor and Nolan mess around and try to convince the players to join the table and play with them. The characters are actually puppets controlled by Azazel. Stage 2. The temptation of the game. Nolan holds the strings of the game. He seems to have plenty of money and items to wager. The only thing he seems interested in is making bizarre bets, such as forcing them to imitate a goose. These seem like joking and meaningless requests, but he actually needs these bets to gain an advantage in the later stages. Imagine if during a fight one of the characters was forced to croak. Yes, Azazel can force a character to perform an action if he has lost a bet to Nolan. Once he has familiarized himself with the players, Nolan will try to bet the most important thing they own. He hints that he will evaluate after winning what it is, implying that it is their most valuable item, actually meaning their soul. It is important to make the game intriguing and with rich prizes. Halon continues to remain on the sidelines, a silent man who possesses a magical figurine that can grant one small wish per person, is reluctant to have it used, but changes his mind if offered gold coins. The figurine does indeed grant a small wish, but in exchange for the soul of the requester. Step 3. The revelation of the demon. In this phase, the characters begin to hallucinate. Try to warn them and scare them at the same time. Once he obtains at least one soul, Azazel reveals himself in his true form and tries to convince the other characters to stake their souls to regain their companion's soul. If he has not yet stolen any souls, at this stage Azazel reveals himself and threatens the characters, saying that they will die when time runs out if they do not surrender their souls. Hallucinations are a clear sign that their end is approaching. Phase 4. The attacks and manipulations. In the last phase, Azazel summons monsters from the storm to attack the characters, tries to get them into trouble, and promises to save their lives in exchange for their souls. Try to ratchet up the tension by saying you hear noises from outside, claws scratching on the tavern door, and, only at the right time, let the creatures in. The dice game is a central time for engaging characters in betting. Nolan or Azazel will propose a game in which you roll 3 dice, and whoever wants to can withdraw 1 or 2 dice to try to overcome the opponent's dice values. If you prefer, you can modify or use another game to draw players to the table. Atmosphere is key in this adventure. The tavern is warm and cozy, almost too perfect, and lacks details such as a pantry, something more observant players might notice. Don't give them too many details. Let them focus on Halon, the mysterious boy sitting alone at the table while Azazel weaves his web. Even if the characters wanted to leave the tavern, the storm outside is a trap. Those who venture into the snow will be overwhelmed, and after a few rounds of bewilderment, will always find themselves facing the tavern door. In addition, there's a 50% chance of encountering a snow horror, a creature summoned by the demon to hinder escape. I hope this adventure can add a touch of mystery and deception to your campaign. If you like it, leave a like and tell us the highlights of your adventure. Keep following us on Patreon for new adventures.